So with the latest confirmation that Five Nights at Freddy's 6, or whatever you want to call it, has been cancelled and is not a troll, according to the new post, it's safe to assume that whatever Scott was working on will be buried and forgotten for now. But I'm here to tell you that the cancellation of Five Nights at Freddy's 6 is the best decision Scott has ever made. So this sure is a twist. I go from proving it's a troll to telling you guys it's a good thing it was cancelled. Before you leave your hate comment, hear me out. Let's go back to the beginning of Five Nights at Freddy's. The very beginning. 2014, every horror game using the same aspect as the last. These horror games were becoming less scary, and slowly people started to abandon these games in search of a new, fresh title. Then a game called Five Nights at Freddy's was released, and it changed everything. People ran to Steam and purchased this indie horror game, finally receiving a breath of fresh air. This new point-click style used by none was a fresh take in the horror genre. It was terrifying, and YouTube contributed to this small game by turning it into the best horror game worldwide, with many YouTubers playing it. It spawned a sequel, 4 additional games, a movie, and merchandise, as well as a mobile port. So what happened? Well, it seems history has repeated itself. Soon, various horror games took advantage of the Five Nights at Freddy's style, spawning many fan games with the same style. The overusing of the concept caused the rapid decline of the original FNAF. With the pressure of a new game, Scott is forced to compete with the next generation of horror games and the Five Nights at Freddy's fan games, both with new, scarier concepts. Scott begins to design a new game with the same overused format as before. It was then that he realized his game could not compete with the next generation of horror. So logically, he stepped back and gave up work on the game, announcing he is taking a break. So why is Scott taking a break? 2 reasons. The first being he is making up with the time he lost with his family. Because as a game developer, you lose a lot of time with your family working on games. Scott never took a break for any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, so he rightfully deserves one. The second reason is shocking. However, this reason is pure speculation. I believe Scott stepped back to think of a new concept that will put Five Nights at Freddy's back on the map. He wants a new concept that can compete with this next generation of horror games, something that will scare his audience like it did in the old days. Will he be successful? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Scott will return. If he would have released Five Nights at Freddy's 6, it would have been overshadowed by the other horror games, and it could have left to the decease of FNAF. The overused format would have killed the game as it did long ago to the other horror games back in 2014. Scott will return to compete with the new horror games, and if he is successful, it could once again change the future of horror games, or it could even spawn a new age of games if he doesn't do anything relating to horror. The image on FNAF World is left to remind us that FNAF is not over yet, and is still here. Will Scott return to FNAF, or is it finished for good? Tell me in the comments below. Share this video to end the chaos and hate directed at Scott. Let Scott take his break. Please, guys. If you learned anything or this video was enjoyable, leave a big ol' like and subscribe for more speculation as always. As always, I'm Awesome Gamer Dude. This concludes this video, and have an awesome day. Later!